Spartan fans, welcome into this latest edition of Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beer reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI Aiden Champion. Happy Labor Day. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I'm sure you did, considering that Michigan State home opening win against Western Michigan, 23-6 victory for the Spartans. Overall, wasn't the greatest game for Michigan State, but definitely some things you can build on, some positives, and you've also got some things that you definitely got to clean up. But overall, pretty on par week one performance. And I think um, there's not too much you should be overly concerned about, but a lot of room for improvement. And that's kind of what you want in some ways after a week one win. And this team definitely has signs of what should be an improved team this year. And we'll just have to see. But a big part of getting to where they want to be is a strong start, at least getting off to a 3-0 start before it heads out on the road. And that means beating Boston College. You got Boston College in town this weekend. And obviously, Spartans lost that one last year. Was a game they felt they should have won, could have made the difference in terms of bowl eligibility. Now you got Boston College back in your own backyard, and you have a chance to get your revenge. But gonna need all hands on deck. And there were a lot of contributions in Friday's win. A lot of guys stepping up, but there were some more notable players who didn't exactly leave that big of a mark on the game. And so, gotta get those guys in on the action. Now, a lot of it wasn't necessarily their fault. It was just the way the game went, and then some things up front, and what have you. A lot of different factors, but you're definitely going to need to make some adjustments and get those guys in on the action because you got to utilize your weapons. And there's a lot of them. I'm really looking at offense because defensively, overall, you played a lot of guys, and I think you can be pretty content with what you got in the stat sheet from all these different guys. You're able to rotate a lot of different people, utilize your depth, and I think as a defense, there's not a whole lot more you could have asked for. I would say in general, though, got to get to the quarterback. You did here and there, but definitely something that needs to be more frequent. I do think they were disruptive a lot in the backfield. It was good for them to get that safety in the end zone in the second half, especially considering the offense didn't score, and those would be the team's only points in the second half. So definitely good that they capitalized there and executed when they needed to. Looking at offense, though, there's some guys who you would have liked to see more from in Friday's win, but just kind of how the game went. Nick Marsh, I think that's the most obvious one. And it wasn't even, a poor performance from Marsh. He still scored a touchdown, but, I think everyone was really looking forward to what we would see from Marsh, considering, the very promising year he had last year and the improvements he made in the offseason, but ultimately only finished with 32 receiving yards on 6 receptions. Definitely would have liked to see more there. But I think it just was a matter of Amari Kelly being open more, maybe more focus was placed on Marsh from the defense. And then overall, just passing game in general, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to make plays in that department. I mean, pass blocking wasn't great. And then there were some mistakes here and there that Aiden Childs made. But I wouldn't put much of the failure in the pass game on Aiden Childs. I think he had a pretty solid performance overall. But yeah, I just think it was kind of a matter of Kelly being open more. And then also, I think this offense was playing a little conservative, was holding back a little bit from what they're going to be giving Boston College. Didn't necessarily go for the big home run plays. And I think I'm expecting them to open up the playbook more against Boston College. And in that instance, I think you could see a lot more of Nick Marsh. Same type of deal for Krishan McCray, only one reception. And remember, he's a guy who was in the mix for that wide receiver spot. Could still be. I mean, they could still be looking at that. But for now, in game one, McCray was that third wide receiver and was another one of those transfers who came over. He came over from Kent State, where he was a two-time all-conference guy. Very talented receiver, veteran, and I think you just fans would have liked to see a little more in his debut for the Spartans. But here's the good thing, the bright side. You got something really good here with Omari Kelly. We heard great things about him all offseason, heard about it in fall camp, and then here it is, leads the team in receiving on Friday, and he made some really nice plays. I think he, is going to be a great weapon that you can go to this season, and it's definitely something that fans should be excited about. So, big positive takeaway from all that. Also, another guy, this was a little more alarming, I'd say. Jack Felling. I mean, only one reception for 3 yards. I'm interested. We're going to talk to Jonathan Smith today. I'm interested to hear what he saw, why he wasn't, more involved in this game because, last year, of course, didn't meet expectations. Was expected to be one of the best tight ends in the league or in the country. Same type of deal going into this year, and it's more of the same from last season. We're expecting a big jump, and wasn't able to showcase what he's worked on this offseason against Western Michigan. So, definitely need to see more there. I think in order for this team to reach its full potential, particularly offensively, Jack Felling needs to make his mark on the game. And, you're going to we've talked about it, the defensives are going to be placing a lot of their focus on these talented receivers. You got a great receiving room. Jack Felling is there to help bail you out in those situations. And, he worked on the things he needed to improve on this offseason. There really shouldn't be any reason that he's not being utilized more. So, would like to know where things are kind of at with him. I know he was a little banged up in fall camp, but it's back now. And we'll just have to see. But you definitely need to get Jack Felling going sooner rather than later. So you're going to need all these guys to contribute on Saturday when the Spartans host Boston College. Prime time, 7:30. Spartan Stadium's going to be rocking. I know it is. And it's going to be a real test. Western Michigan, no disrespect to them, but you don't necessarily can't really tell where you're at when you're playing an inferior opponent. Well, Boston College, it's going to be a tough team. I expect this one to be relatively close, and we'll really find out kind of where Michigan State is at in the early going of this 2025 season. So I hope you guys are having a great break before you get back into the swing of things, and have a great week ahead. Boston College next up Saturday, and I will talk to you more until then. But for now, thank you, and catch you next time. Thanks.